Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars.
It's so good.
It is. So is that tune. I miss that tune, that medley.
I'm enjoying the Star Wars these days so much. More than you know.
You know, we're going to be in like a week or two, we're going to be reviewing the Tales of the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, I've only watched the first episode.
Really? I've watched it twice.
The whole thing?
Not only have I watched the whole thing twice, I have watched the last season of Clone Wars and started watching The Bad Batch.
Okay.
I'm halfway through The Bad Batch.
So all I've watched so far is the first season, or the first episode, the Ahsoka as a baby episode.
Right.
I hated it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, I really hated it. But that's not what we're here to talk about. Hello and welcome to the Movie Men Podcast.
The B Team.
Yeah, that's Carl.
And this is Brady.
Yeah. And we are here to continue our journey. I don't know. It just became C-3PO there. We are here.
That?
I don't know. I was going to do like, at first I was going to do like an English accent, which I guess C-3PO is.
Trying to join the Empire with that accent, are you?
I was just going to do like English. And then, but the first note that came out was very like Anthony Daniels-esque. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is what's happening. I have no say in the matter. We're here to talk about Andor. We're going to continue our journey reviewing season 1 of Andor, a show that we both were like, okay, but why? When it was announced. And as it approached, we were like, oh, no, okay, great, but actually why? And then we started watching it and we both dug it. Dug it in a big way so far.
Mm-hmm. Really, and that's a bit of a spoiler for what I felt about this episode, but so far only one real flop out of 8 episodes. And we're going to be talking about the eighth episode 8, Narkina 5.
And to sort of iron out that spoiler, there was an episode prior to this that he thought was a flop. That was not a spoiler saying that this is the floppy episode.
No, this isn't the floppy episode.
Not so floppy. Yeah.
No.
Cool. All right, sir. Let's dive into this.
Yeah, sure. Well, so this episode jumps around a lot.
But again, and this episode also shows us things that I didn't think we were going to see.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
The jumping around, I'm not a big fan of. It was one of the big things that made episode 4 such a flop. I think it worked a little bit better for this.
He's not referring to A New Hope, by the way.
No.
You need to distinguish.
of Andor. Yeah, for this one, it worked. I think it worked a little bit better, but it still jumps pretty quickly. Like we get these really short scenes, and then it jumps to something else, and another short scene, and it jumps back to that previous character, and then I don't understand this filmmaking. Like a lot of these scenes could have been followed the character from scene to scene instead of jumping around.
Is this not how they taught you to do it in film school?
Well, I never went to film school, but as somebody who's watching it, it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So anyway, that being said, I think I feel like the best way to break this episode down is maybe just follow the characters through their arc. What do you think?
Yeah, do you want to sort of do it Lord of the Rings book style, where we just do like we get like halfway through the podcast and then we mention X and X characters from the beginning?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. So let's start with...
Can we start with Andor?
Yeah, let's start with Andor. The show starts with Andor, so let's start with Andor.
This is what I was not expecting to see. Yeah. I thought for sure, like on the way to prison, like on the transport, something would happen and he would get loose or something. I did not expect to see a whole episode, and I mean he's still there, so at least one episode of him in prison. Like I don't know why. Like it you know, it's not like, oh, I don't think they'll do that. I just it wasn't where I guessed this was going. And Andor is a show that has continuously shown us, has expanded the world of Star Wars by giving us brothels, panties,
kind of everyday life things. Yeah.
Yeah. All the sexy everyday life things. And then, but also, you know, so now, and then in this episode, this is the first time we've really seen like, this is the first show really where we haven't seen nudity, what the TV rating system would consider nudity, but the implication that so many characters are naked, is very new to Star Wars in a lot of ways. And yeah. I started thinking about it and I was like, what is it about this show that makes it so damn good? What is it because this just feels different from what we've gotten before. And I think what it is, you know, you watch Star Wars and, you know, even scenes in Star Wars that are frightening, right? So like in Revenge of the Sith, you've got Anakin, his like burning up on Mustafar situation, right? Mm-hmm. One of the scariest scenes in all of Star Wars, most frightening for young audiences. Most Star Wars that we've gotten, the movies, the TV shows, they're all not necessarily kids' movies, but they're all
PG-13.
They're all PG-13. They're made. They are really at the end of the day. Like the prequels are made for kids. The sequel series is made for kids. A lot of the, you know, Clone Wars, Bad Batch, Rebels, like they're made for kids. You could almost even say that there's not really anything. There's nothing in Mandalorian that a kid couldn't watch, right? And especially with the whole Grogu Baby Yoda angle, that is put in there for kids to sell toys to kids.
Yeah.
Andor, for the very first time, and I'm stealing someone else's. I'm quoting someone else in saying this, but it nails it. Andor, for the very first time, is giving us Star Wars for adults. This is an adult show. And not in that you couldn't have your kids watch it, but this doesn't feel... I was like, this doesn't feel like a Star Wars show for the longest time. And the reason being, like, it feels like the Star Wars universe, but it doesn't feel like a Star Wars show because it feels like an HBO Max thing. It feels like an HBO thing.
Yeah, it's a little set grittier, in Star Wars. Dirtier.
Yeah. And I like it.
Doesn't beat around the bush.
No, and it's just like it's dealing with more complicated, like emotional themes, and really, you know, and this prison. I mean, this prison. There's a lot of that going on here, and I've never watched something in Star Wars, maybe with the exception of there were two times. Probably the first time I saw Revenge of the Sith in the theaters and you see Anakin burn up. Then Rise of Skywalker when Palpatine is destroyed and his face like disintegrates, like you see flesh flying off of his face. Those are the two times in Star Wars that I've been like, oh, like, oh, that is imagery. That was something I wasn't expecting to see. Holy cow. This episode is the third. That when Andor and the ragtag group of criminals arrive at the prison and the guy demonstrates what being fried is.
Oh man.
I was like, oh my gosh. That's awful. Like it looks so awful. The combination of the sound editing and the acting on their faces and just like how it all comes together. I'm like, I am uncomfortable right now. That is horrible.
And this is what, like, this is one of the things where I feel like I don't understand why you keep cutting away to other scenes and then coming back. But like the scenes building up to this kind of add some tension, like the rigidness and the kind of the I don't want to say brutality because he never gets hit or assaulted, but like the very firm orders given by stormtroopers to get in line, go over there, do this. They're saying it with like a no nonsense attitude, right?
Oh yeah,
like
they're not step out of line
just a little bit, and I'm gonna beat you.
I'll hit you with the butt of my rifle.
Right? Like, take off your boots. It's like, why are they taking off their boots? Like all this stuff is like I feel like Andor, like what, and especially like the acting in this from. Forgive me, I forget the actor's name. Andor's actor, Pedro Pascal.
No.
Anyway, he does a phenomenal job.
Oh my gosh,
Andor! I feel for Andor because he feels terrified. Like watching this, he like the actor does a great job of portraying Andor as being terrified. Like, I don't know where I'm going.
Even at the start of the episode, I'm a tourist. How am I going to get
out of this?
I'm just a tourist.
And it just builds, and then you get that shock, and you're like, oh my God, that is the most ingenious way to kind of control your prisoners.
Yeah.
And then that sort of geniusness of control just continues to grow the more you learn about the prison.
Yeah, it's an honor system. It's free range. Like, well, not free range, but it's like it is.
And not even an honor system.
Here's
it's a control system.
Food. Drink as much as you want. Eat as much as you want.
Well, they want them to be healthy and strong, so they can continue to build stuff.
There's no door on your cell,
right? Yeah,
but you know what there is come nighttime?
An electrified floor.
Of the floor that's going to fry you. Can I on the just because I can't? It's going to explode out of me if I don't. From the Andor storyline, can I let one more cat out of the bag?
Go for it.
Andy Serkis! Oh my gosh. Like the second I heard the voice, I knew. And then the face reveal, I'm like, Andy Serkis is in Star Wars.
This is a first. He was in Star Wars already. He played Snoke.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a cool first that he's now
his face.
He's now two characters in Star Wars. It's kind of cool.
And here's the thing: we think of like so often we think of, my early memories. Like 10 years ago, if you were to ask me who's Andy Serkis, right? I would have said, well, he's Gollum first and foremost. Like that's how we all came to know who Andy Serkis is. And then he's the quirky boss from 13 going on 30. He played Kong. He did the mocap for Kong. He did the mocap for Planet of the Apes. Like, and he'd be kind of like, a couple, like one quirky in-person role, 13 going on 30. And then a bunch of performance capture stuff. And you kind of see him he plays Ulysses Claw in the MCU, but that's always, you're an MCU villain, with the exception of a couple like Thanos and stuff. They're never super foreboding. And there's, even within the MCU, there's a little bit of like campiness to it. Like it's like you're dealing with a comic book property. Andy Serkis, the more I see, and this isn't like a realization I just had in this show, like this is something over the last 5-6 years I've become more and more sort of in tune with. What an actor. Andy Serkis is incredible. Like, I don't think you could plop him in a role. Even it's gone back, like when I went back as an adult and rewatched 13 going on 30, which is an amazing movie, by the way. If you haven't, Judy Greer, Jennifer Garner, Mark Ruffalo, Andy Serkis, even his like silly, quirky, over-the-top character in that, there's a genius to it. And the way that he's, much like you're like, Mr. Bean. No, Mr. Bean by Rowan Atkinson is a masterful performance that is like got so much nuance to it. And I feel this way about Andy Serkis. I think Andy Serkis could probably be, when we reviewed our Pete and I reviewed our favorite actors, our top actors, I believe we only did our top 5. I think Andy Serkis is probably in my top 10 favorite actors. Actors who I see, oh, he's in something, and that instantly boosts my excitement level up, because I just love seeing him on screen. I love the way that he can play seriousness, and he can frighten you without being scary. You're just like, oh, this is a guy to not cross, because this guy is out for himself and ruthless, and that's the character in this show. He's served his time. He's motivated. He is motivated by, getting the hell out, being done with this.
And that's what this whole prison system is all about, is that motivation, right? And Andy Serkis' character really kind of portrays that for us.
Well, and even this prison, like, man, this episode, even the juxtaposition of the fact that 2 episodes ago, he was pulling off a heist at an Imperial base. Mm-hmm. And now, day in and day out, he's on a factory line, basically, building equipment for the Empire. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, there's so many layers to that. That is rich.
And he's the reason that there's, like, the prisoners are talking about all their prisoners' sentences, whatever was left on them, have been doubled.
Yeah, it's his fault.
And things have kind of been in the prison have cracked down a little bit worse. And it's all his fault. Like, he's the one that did that to them.
Yeah, but you don't dare say that.
Yeah. So it's pretty, and he's got no idea it happens, which the prisoners realize and freak out about, which means, like, nobody else in the galaxy knows this has happened to the prison system.
Yeah. Do we actually, like, I mean, if you feel like we do, we can, but, like, I don't know. I feel like what we're doing right now is working. Like, do you think we need to go plot point by plot point on Andor's story? Like, I feel like we've talked about the prison.
Well, yeah, there's a few things we can hit on here.
Yeah, let's do that.
Like,
but
like, what do you think they're building? All those pieces are the same. There's, so yeah, like the best guess
part of a
I'd
TIE
have,
fighter,
and it's the first
something.
thought I had when I seen the parts, is, if you connect those pieces with long rods in between each of them, you have a circle, you have a sphere.
Yeah,
they're building connecting points for the Death Star.
Ooh. Well, does that make sense timeline wise? No.
Why not?
Because they've
been building these parts long before Andor got there.
Yeah, no. But I mean, they wouldn't still be building them.
Why
right?
not?
Like, if
the Death Star's not built yet. It's not finished.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because it's like literally, like, if you think about the timeline of this show, within the next 6 months, the Death Star is going to
3 years before.
Is it?
I think so.
Okay.
And when we get Rogue One, they just finish it.
Was it that freshly? It was that freshly finished, eh? When the Battle of Yavin happened, like, this was this is our brand new toy.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to. It's been a long time since I watched all of Rogue One. But they do a test, like, the first firing of the Death Star, a test firing, was in Rogue One on that planet that Saul Guerrero was on, up on
the city on the hill thing.
Yeah, the old Jedi temple city.
Man, it took them flipping and I mean, that's so much more. Like, we first see the plans for the Death Star in Phantom Menace. Right? They're just, like, very briefly, you see a little hologram thing of it. And then they're building it, like they're well on their way building it in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, at the end of it, yeah.
And man, it took them like 30 years.
It's not a small factory. It's not a small space station.
I know, but think about how much time. Do you think?
Also, who's nowhere has it ever been stated that once they finished that Death Star, that they didn't start a second one right off the bat.
That's kind of, or even before that.
Yeah.
Even before that, because the other one,
I can imagine Palpatine wouldn't stop at one.
Yeah, because the other one, like in a year's time, is like 5 times the size and 3/4 of the way built. So, I mean, even that, it seems like the bigger one. I almost wonder if, like, yeah, something timeline doesn't make any sense to me. But
I've heard other theories that they could be like the connecting, the center point for a TIE fighter foil and some other things. But I feel like the way they're kind of arced inwards a little bit, and if you kind of use like long rods to connect a whole bunch of them, you're going to end up with a sphere. It just, that feels, in my mind, it feels canonical. I mean, I don't think they're going to tell us what it is.
No, but it's a fun, if that is what it is, then that's extra fun.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that is funner to leave a mystery than to tell us.
Funner?
Yeah, funner. More fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a word I use.
During this scene, I was like, yeah, like for a second, I was certainly like, what the hell are they building? And then I quickly moved past that, and I was just focusing on, like, in this room where they're, building these things. I'm just like, I am constantly in love with and enamored by these practical sets. I'm just like, this room is gorgeous. This looks so good. This feels like a real room, and this is all actually happening. There's minimal CGI going on here. There's no volume sets with LED screens and stuff like that. This is a room that they built for this, and there are tangible props that they're working with.
Yeah.
And it just felt so... It had a quality that Star Wars has not had since the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Like just this.
And that's something that Andor has done really well.
Yeah. Oh, I love these real sets, practical sets. Oh, so good.
Practical effects. Yeah. So I think there's 2 other things I think we should touch on the Andor storyline in this episode. The first is kind of a 2-parter, and that's that, I guess it's kind of a 3-parter. Even though Andor is terrified, and we sense this how terrified he is as he enters this prison and starts to learn about how hard it's going to be to escape, he's still like paying attention to important things, where the boots are, what the boots do, which, by the way, those are very obviously snowboard boots that they've retrofitted, which is kind of cool. But it's like, I immediately realized what those were.
But that's in the vein of Star Wars.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right? That, like,
taking real world things and repurposing them and transforming them into something sci-fi.
The original lightsaber is the handle off an old camera flash, right?
Yeah.
Like with very little added to it, really.
Let's see. So he's paying attention. Even as terrified as he is, he's trying to gather information. Also, one of those pieces of information he gathers is there is some sort of communication between rooms. So they tell us that there are 7 floors, which this is really funny because it just shows how like meticulous and organized the Empire is. 7 floors, 7 rooms on each floor, 7 tables in each room, 7 people at each table.
I know. That's so fun.
So cool. Yeah. But anyway, he sees one of the people from his room communicating to somebody on a different floor in the hall, waiting to go into their sleeping area. It's via some sort of homemade sign language. So there's some sort of rebellion or escape plan people are already hatching that he's probably going to find his way into.
Yeah.
And then the third thing that kind of ties into this sort of escape/rebellion tie-in is there is actually a guy in his room that is part of the rebellion or will become part of the rebellion, and we see in the Rogue One story.
Oh, is it really? I missed that.
Yeah, his name's Melish.
Okay.
And yeah, he becomes one of Andor's friends. He has a few lines in the Rogue One movie, and he plays a fairly big role in the beach battle.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go back.
Fun tie-in there too.
I got to rewatch Rogue One. I've been thinking that for a while.
Yeah, hopefully they'll connect a bit and kind of start playing into that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So that was the first thing. What was the second thing now that I went on that big rant?
I don't know.
I think it was just it was the Empire thing, like the Empire's meticulousness.
Everything's very uniform.
Uniform.
Yeah. That's so cool.
To the point where, this prison is so meticulously planned out that they have minimal guards.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, step out of your cell and we'll fry you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so good. That's so good. Luthen. Let's talk about Luthen.
All right.
This is the first time, because we don't see a whole lot. We see Luthen in this episode, but not like a whole lot.
He's only got a few scenes.
This is we're jumping right to the end, because that's the kind of guy I am. This is the first time, and this is a huge credit to this show. This is the first time on screen that we have seen Saw Gerrera, and I have been invested and enjoy it. I've said before, it's not a character, like the whole Saw Gerrera thing doesn't interest me. I don't really care. It seemed, when it was introduced, it seemed like, to me, just a way of like not complicating, but just like trying to add a whole nother layer to the rebellion. And it just wasn't one that I was invested in. It wasn't like, I just didn't care. Right. But something about because like you first see that scene starts and you first see Luthen and Saw, and you're like, oh, okay, like these guys are, obviously your assumption is these guys are in cahoots. They're old pals. They're working together. They're thick as thieves. Like they're each other's greatest ally in this. Like, how could they not be? But there's animosity. Like this. Yeah,
they'll both have their own motivations.
Yeah, this conversation quickly becomes almost hostile in this, like, so was that the thing that happened out on Aldhani? That was you? No, I was going to ask if that was you. Wow, well, why would it be me? That's the type of thing someone would say if they had done it. And it was like, that was a lot of fun. And man, Stellan Skarsgård in every scene he's in is amazing. Yeah. But this scene particularly, like, it's just, I don't know, it's good. But I was not expecting there to be a rift between them. Like I said, the scene starts, and how could you not just assume these guys they've got a common purpose, right?
Yeah. Well, I think,
but they don't. Well, they do have a common purpose, but they're not aligned as far as they're working together so much. It's strictly business, and it's not necessarily friendly business, and that excites me. And I want to see, for the first time, I was like, I hope we see more of this. I hope this wasn't just a blink and you miss it Saw Gerrera cameo, not because I care about Saw Gerrera, but because I am now invested in the dynamic between him and Luthen.
The two. Yeah, because I definitely agree. I was definitely more invested in Saw Gerrera as a character than it sounds like you were, because I've watched the Clone Wars. I haven't watched all of Rebels, but I've watched enough that I've seen him in some of it. And yeah, as a character, Saul is a rebel. He's one of the first people to have a rebel cell fighting against the Empire.
Yep.
But he's always very picky about who he works with.
Yes.
Because if people's ideals don't line up with his, then they're not worth helping or fighting alongside, because they have different politics.
Well, and
if you have different and we get a little bit of that in the Rogue One movie.
Rogue One. Yeah, I was going to say, like in Rogue One, in Rogue One, especially at the beginning, like when he's we're sort of finding him and what's the character, the main character from Rogue One? What's her name? The TIE fighter pilot turned, well, she's not a TIE fighter pilot, but you know what I mean. Turned good guy. I'm not going to get it, but for the life, I can't even.
Jalen Erso.
Oh, okay. Jalen?
Yeah. Jane.
Oh, okay.
Jyn. Jane?
J. Erso. Anyways, Saw being, and I mean, we get this with Luthen too, and maybe it's just like that's because this is how the rebellion needs to be structured. But it is and it isn't, because you don't ever feel this way about Mon Mothma in the original trilogy, and you don't feel this way about Admiral Akbar, that Saw Gerrera always seemed, and especially in Rogue One, very inaccessible.
Well, in Rogue One, he's kind of lost his mind a little bit.
But you don't just go talk to him. You can't, to get an audience with him,
because
or to find out where he is.
Like he's become so living on the fringes, fighting against tyranny, and also being weary of who he fights alongside, has kind of taken a toll on his.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is the being wary who he fights alongside. Like you get the impression that even if you show interest in real interest, I'm going to dedicate myself to fighting for the rebellion, he still may not be interested in talking to. That might not be enough to grant you an audience with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of a, yeah, they're both fighting for the same thing, but Luthen is pushing, he wants to unify the rebel factions so that they have a real shot at taking down the Empire.
So here's a question for you. Who's, out of the two of them, assuming it is one of the two of them, whose rebellion, I mean, it's more complicated. I see the holes in the question I'm asking, but whose rebellion is it that you think we end up getting?
I think obviously we're getting Luthen's.
Yeah, you think? Do you
Saw
think
Gerrera is going to be is kind of like, he's going to stay a rebel faction, but he's going to be a splinter faction.
So in the original trilogy, you think ultimately it's Luthen's rebellion that blows up the Death Star, and
yeah, I mean,
I think you're right.
Rogue One shows us that.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's still some missing connections that we don't know entirely what's going to happen, but
him and Mon Mothma, while some of their methods are different, have the same plan.
It could be not. I mean, maybe the answer is neither, and it's Mon Mothma's rebellion that we don't know what's going to happen in this show.
That could be.
Yeah,
I don't think that's the case based on some of the stuff, the episodes I've seen from blanking on the TV show.
Rebels, Clone Wars.
Rebels, yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, because we're getting another season of Andor, I don't think that this series ends with Luthen being someone we like or trust.
I think Luthen will probably die before the end of this season. Or at the end of the season. And
I think it will be necessary, not just for a continuity standpoint, but I think it will reach, because ultimately Mon Mothma is going to be the leader of our rebellion. Right? And so Yeah, I'll be so curious to see how all of that ends up shaking out.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Mon Mothma, we get a few more scenes of her, more parties.
Yeah. Her old high school chum. Yeah, it's just like party life on Coruscant.
Yeah, I think this is, and this, the other person we're going to talk about at some point is Cyril and Miro, but
doofy
mimicking.
Haircut.
I think the reason the kind of the jumping around works better in this episode is because there's kind of a mirroring between the characters, right? Like Cyril is stuck in his prison. Andor is stuck in his prison. Mon Mothma, while very beautiful and elegant and well fed, she's still in a type of prison.
Yeah.
Right? And we're seeing how the Empire is strangling and holding people captive in different ways. And I think that's why the jumping around works a little bit better in this episode than it did before, and it didn't pull me out of it as much. While still it did, especially at the beginning, we get like these 1 minute scenes jumping back and forth between characters, and it's just like, yeah. But anyway,
do you think this is a stretch? There's nothing to base this off of, but over under, I'll go 50, over under 50% that Cyril becomes a part of the rebellion.
The rebellion? No, I still think he's going to join the Empire. I think he's going to become an Imperial agent of some form.
Quite possibly.
I think, even though in this episode, like
that's the
Mon
safe
Mothma
money
stuff, there's not a lot to talk about here unless you've got something. Like we could get some of the politicians yapping about.
Yeah, not really. I mean, it's more just kind of, it's a lot more of like having conversations in secret and like.
We get a little bit of a drop that she was married at 15 and's been a senator since she was 16.
Yeah, as was tradition.
Being a senator at 16 is not a big shock because Padme was a teenager and she was a queen. Senator and a queen. Yeah. So
she was a queen at like, she was like, she was young.
The married young thing was a little bit of a shocker because it's not normal to our culture.
Well, yeah, it's just a cultural thing, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so like moving on to the last kind of bit, I guess there was some stuff on Ferrix, but the Cyril stuff.
Cyril and is it Miro?
Lieutenant Miro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Cyril has been filing false reports, 5 of them. Nope, 6. Which was,
I wasn't counting this morning.
Outing himself. 6. I filed one this morning.
Yeah, there's no shame there.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's either trying to get the Empire to do the work for him, or he's trying to get the someone's Empire's attention so that he can keep digging further with more resources.
Yeah.
But so Miro gets some information out of him, and then once she gets the information he has, the correct information, not the false report that was filed, she's done with him, and he's he's
like, let me help. I can be a good ally. I could be very useful. And she's like, this never, like,
you're done.
Forget my face.
Go back to work and don't do this again, or you'll feel the wrath of the Empire.
Or it won't be me coming to talk to you.
Yeah. So man, I don't think we're obviously not done with Cyril's storyline. I think that Miro's going to end up coming back to him again at some point for help, or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I definitely feel like he's Empire through and through.
Or maybe, maybe to some extent, Miro's, maybe the lucky streak, maybe what she's, her kind of the power that she's got and the success that she's having. Maybe there's a timer ticking on that. Maybe she won't end up being a main character later on.
Well, she was warned, right? So maybe she'll end up dying off. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe Cyril will kind of come in and take her place.
He's pretty low on the totem pole to be taking her place right away, but
yeah, but I mean,
maybe somebody else will recruit him where she failed to.
He's got the gusto, and he's got he's got the resources. Apparently, he's crafty.
Yeah. Regardless, he's kind of put out of the episode rather quickly because Miro wants nothing to do with him once she has her information, and she ends up going to Ferrex. And through kind of cracking down on tracking comms and stuff, she ends up catching Bix, and Bix is, I guess it's her dad or shop owner or somebody she knows and cares about.
Yeah, he's just a buddy, isn't he?
Yeah, Miro ends up interrogating Bix about Andor.
Yeah, which...
This is a really cool scene, the interrogation bit, because she tells the guards to leave the guy in there, and then then Bix shows up, and she's like, "Oh, what do you still got this guy in here? Get him out of here."
Because it was important to her that Bix saw.
Yeah, she's playing on the fears.
Yeah,
but playing on them in a way like she made a mistake by letting her see.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting, like, the duality of that spycraft interrogation.
Well, yeah, and just that, like, her guys there are incompetent idiots, and like that she has. I think that's like a power push there, where it's like, look, I'm going to, in one fell swoop, I'm going to show you that there's no one we can't get to, and that we are. We're finding all of you, and so we will get to the bottom of this, but also by, kind of reprimanding the guys for having him still sitting in the interrogation chair. What it shows Bix is, just so you know, I'm in charge here.
Yeah.
People take orders from me.
I feel like Bix isn't going to be there for long, though.
Oh, probably not. Do you think she'll her feelings towards Andor right now are a little like there's sort of some double-edged sword stuff going on there. How much do you think she'll spill?
Well, I don't know how much she'll spill, but when I say she won't be there long, I think she's going to get the rebels will break her out, because they set it up in an earlier scene with Andor's mom. Talking about she's checking to make sure that there's still accessibility to the hotel from the maintenance sewer tunnels.
Right.
And she was doing that on behalf of the rebellion.
Yeah.
So I get this feeling like, okay, she's going to spill something, maybe just enough, but she's not going to be there long. She's going to break out. Maybe she'll end up joining the rebellion. She's already kind of got her toes in that, being a communication person.
She's got a rebellion kind of name.
Well, she's been working with Luthen, right? So
yeah,
she's already got her toes in the water.
Under limited capacity, like it's unclear how much she knows about Luthen and who Luthen is and what Luthen does.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah. Do you have anything else? I feel like we've covered this episode.
I think that's my notes.
Yeah, I like this. This was maybe. I think this is our format moving forward. This was nice.
If they keep doing episodes that jump around like this, then definitely. If we get episodes like the heist one where it's all just linear, then I think we might have to follow that linear format. But.
Yeah, or even just like
this worked really well.
Bouncing around on we'll each just make a set of notes. Like this is what I feel is worth talking about, and that's what you feel is worth talking about. And anyways, thank you for listening.
Makes the show a little shorter.
Yeah.
What are your final thoughts?
My final. Was this episode a win or a fail for you, sir?
No, I asked you first.
But that's not what you asked me. My final thoughts. In
your
life,
final thoughts, win or loss,
right before I die.
Yeah.
McDonald's is overrated.
Hell yeah, it is.
I consumed too much pizza in life.
That's not possible.
And I don't know. I was going to say something. I don't know. No, this episode was a win for me. And specifically, like, I found myself it hasn't been every episode that I've been the most interested in what's going on with Andor. Quite often I'm more interested in some of the other storylines that are going on. But this time around, everything in the prison, I was like, just like, what? Oh, yeah. Like, it's such an interesting structure. Those prison scenes
were awesome.
How is he going to get out of this? Like, yeah, there's just so much, and the quiet whisperings of things that are happening within the prison, and yeah, and sort of just the competition behind it is kind of fun. Like, we're playing against other tables to win the room, and the room is playing against other rooms to win the floor, and that, like, yeah. It was cool.
If your table wins, you get food, like, there's a reward for being first at everything. We never find out what the reward is for the room or for the floor, which would be interesting to know. Not necessary, because we only care about Andor at this point.
Yeah,
but
I highly doubt it's a reduced sentence. That's not a Empire type thing.
Yeah, they'll look for anything to double it.
We take our best workers and we get rid of them quicker. That's not... What about you? Win or fail?
So this was a win for sure. Again, I don't like these quick jump, short scene, jump around nonsense. I don't think it plays well. I think, again, as an example, I already said this, I'm going to say it again. If we had followed Andor from the first scene all the way through to when he sees, like, the main floor of the room he's going to be working on, up to the end of that scene, I think if that was one continual, not one shot, but like one progression of story before we jump to another character, the things that happen would have hit harder than if we jumped from back and forth from Andor to Cyril, Lieutenant Marrow, Cyril, Andor. You know, the jumping around, I feel like it doesn't work. But, like I've already said, I think this time it worked a little bit better than it did in episode 4, in that we find the characters in situations that are similar, but circumstances are different.
Right.
So there's some similarities there. There's some, there's a fancier word for it than that I can't think of.
Right. There's like a symmetry to what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a flow.
You know, in a weird way, I think it kind of works. The way they're doing it works for me, just because it keeps me guessing, and I don't ever get bored with the scene. I'm never like, oh, okay, I'm losing interest, because it's like, oh, okay, now, but and there's 3 other storylines that I'm curious to get back to, because they left me hungry. They didn't quite give me enough. I'm not feeling enough. I need more. Let's go back to that. Okay, let's go back to this. Yeah. So anyways, thank you for listening.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Carl appreciates
everyone.
it. Carl's mom appreciates it. Anyone who supports her son is just like,
she doesn't even know I'm doing this.
Overjoyed. Yeah.
But she still love it.
That's support. Make sure you check out all our links below: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon. Worth saying twice. Patreon, our merchandise page, and lots of other stuff. Man, like the comment section, the description section of these episodes is filled with all kinds of goodies. Even better than the mini Snickers you got trick-or-treating. So, you know.
And let us know what you thought of...
let us know what you think of this episode 5. and the show as a whole.
Yeah.
The whole show.
Tell us what you think they're building.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just building giant Lego pieces for the Emperor to play with.
Maybe. Or some sort of, who knows? I mean, it could be anything, right? It could be like one of the internal components of a AT-AT.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's just who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
It's just
or it could be an internal component of a Star Destroyer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, part of the drive shaft.
Yeah, tell us what you think. What do you think it is?
Moving forward, that's all I care about in this show.
What people think?
Yeah, I just like, please like me.
It's the only reason I put myself out there is for the thumbs up.